Hi, I'm Brendan O'Mahony from Broma Engineering. This is part 2 of AHU commissioning and quality, and today we're going to talk about level 3 commissioning. Okay, so level 2 is complete. We've done all our, that's level 2 is complete. We've had our pre-energization meetings, everything's gone well, all check sheets are filled out. No major snags. So just on that, it's only critical or major snags should stop level 3. Any minor snags can be sorted out during level 3, level 4, level 5, and even after handover, there is a guaranteed period where you can fix snags. So don't let people stop you going ahead because of minor snags. Check the contract, always know your contract, check the specs, and make sure that you're not being held up for no reason. Okay, so we've everything's safe. We've the SAP team have turned power on, and the first thing they will do is do their electrical checks. So they'll do phase rotation. Either them or the vendor will do current readings. Usually the vendor on a data center, if it was oil and gas plant or pharma. You might have a commissioning team doing all of level 3, all of level 4, and all of level 5, what we call on as per ASHRAE, but that might be just the commissioning scope. So it might be from handed over, like an oil and gas, you hand over after construction, and then the commissioning team, a huge commissioning team, do all the commissioning. But on data centers, it's the GC do level 3. So level 3 is what generally people think of as commissioning. It's when power is on, it's dynamic testing, so that's how I try to remember it. Level 2 is static, and level 3 is dynamic. What does that mean? It means we have energy, things are moving, things are flowing, fluids are flowing. Things are probably more dangerous now as from the point of view of getting hurt by the machinery, a lot more dangerous. There's electricity, moving parts, fans, there could be high pressure fluids, high pressure water. So the level of safety has to be pretty high, as high as possible, and there'll be a permit to work system in place. So power is on, checking all the electrical tests that we have to do. They'll be in the scripts. I'll just cover what you check your phase rotation, check voltage between phases. All that will be in your level 3 electrical check. That's for the electrical testing only. So usually you have your electrical test sheet, and you'll have your level 2 stuff, and then you'll have your level 3 stuff on the same page, and that'll be your entire kind of electrical check for those cables. So you're covering the cables, and you're covering voltage, earth loop, fault impedance testing, and all that. So I'm not going to get into like specifics about scripts and check sheets now. We can do that some other time. But okay, electrical testing has gone well. We have power. Now the BMS team and the vendor can start doing their commissioning. So something I forgot to mention on the last video, part 1, was flushing. Flushing is technically dynamic. We're moving fluid through the pipe, and you'll be moving it through the AHU as well. So flushing, people love to talk about flushing. Don't let this distract you too much. For me, the mechanical contractor will get a flushing specialist in and do the flushing. Samples will have to be taken. What I would be concerned about as a commissioning manager is how long it's going to take. What if it starts going wrong? Because we can't clearly define how long it's going to take because we don't know how dirty the system is going to be. And there could be all sorts of debris in there. Some of the pipe might have to be taken apart if somebody's after sabotaging it. We hope that doesn't happen, but it does happen. So somebody will leave stuff in the pipe intentionally if they're not happy. People could drop swarf into the pipe, sand into the pipe, sand can get into the pipe by accident if it's out in the yard. So lots of things can go wrong during flushing, and that's the whole point of it. We're making sure that it isn't wrong when the client is operational. So you have to kind of have a guess at how long flushing is going to take, and then have a kind of fallback position. Are we willing to work nights? Can we get extra people in to complete flushing if it's going badly? Now, if it goes well, it might take shorter than we expect. So this is one of these things where you're just going to have to make your best estimate and let everyone know that, this might take a bit longer or it might take a bit shorter. So you're looking for a middle time frame. What else can I say about that? Yeah, you'll have to take your samples then when the filters are pretty clean. At the beginning, you'll be using a witch's hat, making sure all the big debris out. Then you'll be using finer and finer filters until there's very little debris or contamination in the filters. And then at that point, stakeholder team will agree to take samples and send them to a lab. This is going to take time as well, so make sure you have a lab, or the contractor has a lab that's engaged. They understand that it needs a quick turnaround and you can get the results really quickly. They'll have to be documented, and that'll be part of your commissioning pack, your water test sample results, low bacteria, low whatever. They'll be able to test for everything in the lab for that water sample. Okay, so there'll be mechanical checks as well. You'll have a level 3 check sheet. Usually nothing too crazy. Make sure there's no real noise, nothing's overheating, everything's lubricated, belts are performing the way they're supposed to, bearings are performing the way they're supposed to. Usually if there's something wrong mechanically, it's usually something big, so spare parts should be able to be shipped to the site or be on standby pretty quickly. I'm a big fan of having spare parts because even operationally you want them there in case something breaks, so you can keep the plant up and running. And data centers, it probably isn't as critical as other facilities where there's one line, say oil and gas, and maybe one line, and that line has to get back up immediately. Data centers have a lot of redundancy, so if one AHU is down for a week or two, it isn't stopping production. The next thing is tab, so test, adjust, and balance. Specialist contractor, again, they need to be engaged. They're usually pretty expensive. Be careful of that. It's going to take time. They're not going to fly to site because everyone's so busy now until they have guarantees that they're ready to go when they get to site. So they will be putting you under pressure to make sure that power is on, commissioning is started, ductwork is in place, everything mechanically that they need to adjust is in place and ready to go. Ductwork's clean, so they'll be looking for confirmation that they are ready to go, ready to come into the site and get it done. Yeah, tab it can be tricky. It depends on the facility. Sometimes they'll have worked on the same facility over and over again, so they'll know exactly what they're doing and they can do it pretty quickly. Again, scheduling, this is important. You need to allocate time for this, and this is why mechanical can get kind of slow at the end. Electrical is kind of slow to get over the line. Once you've power on, though, it's quite good. Level 3 is easy electrically, but level 3 mechanically, it's where you really find the problems. Before that, it's just sitting there doing nothing. And we have to do all this adjustment. So what is tab? We're getting our airflows correct, we're getting our water flows correct, so we're adjusting dampers, we're adjusting valves, we're adjusting pumps, we're adjusting fans, we're not making sure they're not under pressured, over pressured, and we're creating airflows and water flows that are as to spec, as to the design. So verifying that those flows are available and we can reach them, and then dialing them back if there's too much flow. BMS, well, a kind of building management system. So the BMS contractor is now going to do, with the vendor together, going to do their dynamic testing or running the scripts for the AHU, individual AHUs, and then the AHU system. So we can start this while the tab is running. So when you're scheduling, and I think scheduling is the most important thing as a manager, getting the schedule right is half the battle. Certain things can run in parallel, and there will be some resistance to this, but this is how we have to achieve these very tight deadlines that we have on data centers at the moment. So push to get as much done in parallel as you can. The BMS testing, they'll have to be there anyway to do the tabs, so they'll have to run up fans, run down fabs, run up pumps, run down pumps. They're all working together as a team. It's nice, dynamic, everyone's working together. It's like a beehive on the floor. Try and keep everyone moving in the right direction, keep everyone happy, keep the morale high. So what are they doing? I'm just going to get a little help here from my phone. Digital inputs, digital outputs, analog inputs, outputs, sensor calibration, very important. Valve feedback, so we have to make sure the valves are working. You know, when we say to a valve to open 30%, 60%, 90%, you know, it's doing it 25%. We have to verify all that. Dampers the same, alarms, so AHU turns off when the fire alarm goes off. Make sure all the alarms are working when set points are at a certain point, so temperature alarm, whatever, there'll be loads of alarms in that script. Just a little bit while we're here on script writing, scripts will have to be written for this testing and they'll have to be approved by the design team and the client. So just be aware of that. All scripts need to be in place during pre-construction, I would say, as early as possible. Get these through as a technical submittal. Might be part of the technical submittal for an AHU or for the BMS system. So just be aware of that. This script writing can be a bit of an art. So yeah, and for that you need a sequence of operations from the design team. So the scripts are following the SOO, some people don't like that word, so SOO, and you're developing a test script that tests everything to make sure that it's working exactly as per design. Yeah, trend logging, graphics, network communications, all these things are going to be tested during level 3. And I've just talked about the script already. Run through it. Sometimes you'll find problems, sometimes you won't. If there is problems, the team needs to get together quickly and fix them. Best to have everyone available. You need people on standby. You know, we're kind of running around the place. There's lots of teams doing lots of testing all over the site. There'll be different rooms. It's exciting time. It's good fun if you know what you're doing. So yeah, there'll be electrical testing going on. There'll be people everywhere. So stay calm and just keep moving. Okay, so who needs to be there for commissioning level 3 in AHU? Obviously the vendor for the AHU, the CXA, the electrical contractor, the mechanical contractor, the BMS contractor, the tab specialist, and the flushing specialist. That's level 2, we'll say, / level 3. That's a matter of opinion. But the rest is level 3. The GC manages. Like, people often ask me about flushing. I'm like, I don't care about flushing. I'm a manager. I'm not going to be down there flushing it. So, you know, the flushing specialist does the flushing. They make the plan. You're paying them to do it. We're managing. That's what the GC does. We buy and sell risk, and we manage the job. We're not doing commissioning. We manage it. Just want everyone to understand that. Okay, so level 3 is almost complete. Everything's going well. We're completing the scripts, completing the tab. Flushing's fine. Flushing is usually level 2, by the way. But for me, it's neither level 2 nor level 3. It is a dynamic activity. Even though we might be using just pumps that the flushing crew will use. But anyway, we won't get into too much. Level 3 is complete, ready for level 4. Level 4 is third party, so it's the third party CXA. So the CXA, commissioning authority or commissioning agent. They're a third party coming in to basically redo level 3 scripts. So they'll have their own scripts that are approved by the design team of the client, and they will run their level 4, and it's called FPT, functional performance tests. So they're making sure that everything works the way it should be as per design. They will need the SOO also, create scripts, get the scripts approved, run the scripts in the field. The CXA will usually be there for the end of level 2 as well, so they are there for QA/QC. What some people call QA/QC, what some people call commissioning level 2. And then they'll have their specialists come in to run their mechanical scripts, some of them being in AHU. Once level 4 is complete, they will find some snags always. The BMS team will be there to fix certain things. The vendor will be there to fix certain things if needed. Sometimes there's no problems, sometimes there's a few problems. Last then is level 5, and that's your integrated systems testing. So that's where you're kind of testing everything together. I've seen big durations in for level 5 recently in schedules. Level 5 is a short duration. It's like 3 days max for a big facility. So don't schedule this for a long time. this will take much longer, level 4, and level 3 will take longer than that again, because we're doing a lot more in level 3. There's a lot more activities. We're not doing tab, or we're not doing flushing again in level 4. And plus we're going to see the vast majority of the problems. We're fixing the problems before we go to level 4. Okay, thanks for watching today. That's it for commissioning and doing quality on AHUs. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment, we'll get back to you. See you next time for chillers.